Welcome, everybody. It's me, Zonya Foco. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. And welcome. It's Top Foods That Fight Depression. And some of you know me already, but in case you don't, maybe you know me from being the author of Lickety Split Meals, or I've co-authored the Eat Real Cookbook with Krista Sanderson of EatRealAmerica.com. So maybe you know me from that, or maybe you know me from my TV show on PBS, Zonya's Health Bites. That's aired for a decade now. And anyway, I'm just glad you're here today, and thank you. And why this topic? Top foods that fight depression. It's January, and a lot of people would wonder, Zonya, why aren't we talking about weight loss? Why aren't we talking about exercise and New Year's resolutions and come on, let's do it? Because you and I both know that in order to lose weight, we have to get to the root cause. What's the root cause for lack of motivation? Lack of energy? How come sometimes we know what to do, but we just can't do it? Maybe we can do it for a day or two, but we can't stick with it. It is tough, whether it's seasonal affective disorder or whether it's full-blown depression. I know we all know someone in our family that wrestles with depression. So I guarantee you that today is going to be really helpful. Some great tips, no matter where you fall in that. And if you want to lose a few pounds this year or a lot of pounds this year, I got you covered. We got great ideas for that as well. And so my passion for this subject runs deep because I wrestled with depression. I felt it. I experienced it with postpartum depression 3 weeks after my baby boy was born. You would think I had everything to be happy for. Everything was going well. He was healthy. I was healthy. All was good in my world. But I had that cloud of depression, and I thought, surely it will lift. I'll just play some music. I'll call a friend. I'll go for a walk. Surely this will lift. Take a shower. No. It was a constant cloud of gloom and doom, and there was just nothing that I could do to shake it. Day after day, week after week. I said, Scott, this is depression, and this is what people who wrestle with depression have to deal with. I don't know how they go to work. I don't know how they do it. Fortunately, that lifted, and it's not returned. But I remember the dark despair. And I'm passionate about studying that. I'm passionate about learning and the studies that are coming out that links the mind-body connection, that links our food and mood, and how food works like drugs work, that we can medicate with food. And I know what we mean by medicate with food, with chocolate and ice cream and things like that, but medicate with food. We're going to really look at that, and looking at the gut microbiome connection and how having the proper mycoflora, the bacteria, the friendly bacteria in our digestive tract, having that properly fed and growing and having a diverse microbiome, what does that diet look like to really feed that? Because that's what makes serotonin. That's for the brain. We need to constantly be producing more and more serotonin, our feel-good chemicals. So the mood, the whole gut-brain connection, we got it going on. I've got some great things. I'm going to go ahead to my first slide for you and share with you what you can expect today. Number one, we're going to cover what nutritional psychiatry is. Yes, it's a thing. It's a real thing. And you're going to know exactly what that thing is today. We're going to find out which nutrients decrease depressive symptoms and how they work. Yes, there are 12 of them, so get ready. And scientifically proven, this is really, really cool. Next up, what a lot of people are doing wrong, and they have no idea that they're doing wrong. And you may find that you're one of these people, and how can you fix it? We will definitely do that. And the top 20 foods for fighting depression, and how to get these foods into your diet every day, deliciously, easily. Remember, I'm the author of the Lickety Split Meals Cookbook. I know easy, okay? And that is what we're gonna do, because when you're depressed, the last thing you need is a recipe with, 20 ingredients, right? And lots of steps. No, we don't need to do that. We need things to be easy. And the last thing we'll learn today is that how the greens fight the blues. It's a course where we can dive into this together and continue on our learning. So you'll learn how you can join in on that. Alrighty. Let's talk about the brain. And I didn't mention to you that in addition to my passion for learning about depression, my mother also has Alzheimer's disease. And despite doing a lot of things right with her lifestyle, a runner, she was always fit, she was never overweight, so many things that she did right, but a lot of things she did wrong too. And it's all interconnected. So what I'm going to share tonight to help reduce our risks of Alzheimer's disease as well. So the brain is, check this out, the most metabolically active organ of the body. I know. Yeah. I mean, it's like, really? And these are words from Dr. Buford Mason. And I was like, wow, Dr. Eileen, this is really interesting. It's like the most metabolically active organ of the body. Okay. And its nutritional needs are 10 times higher than those of any other organ. Wow, that's interesting. And therefore, it stands to reckon. I mean, it's the first organ to falter when nutrients are undersupplied. You think about heart attacks and heart disease later in life, but you talk about teenagers who suffer from depression and how the brain can be the first to show signs of nutrients being undersupplied. These 12 nutrients that I'm going to share with you today, it's real easy for them to be undersupplied. And you think, but wait a second, this is Americans. We have, we've got a good diet, right? I mean, don't we? Well, it's not called the sad diet for nothing. It makes us sad. When you look at this, what's the problem here? Some people would say, we need a McLean burger and it will be all better. No, just taking out some fat. We've got the wrong, first of all, we've got sugars here. We have processed refined flours that turn into sugars, and sugar is toxic to the brain. That's right. It is. I know a lot of you have shared that you're doing a no sugar January, and I'm impressed with that. That means no cookies, no cakes, no candies, nothing sweet for an entire month. You'll have fruit. That will be your dessert. Nothing desserty, nothing added sugar in that way. And that's fantastic because you'll knock down your sweet acuity. You'll get back into control because our diet tends to hijack us, right? Hijack our taste buds. And it gets us so that we can bring back small amounts of sweets in moderation. You can absolutely do that. So I applaud that. Sugar is toxic. Next thing to see wrong with here is we have the wrong fats and not the right fats. Our brain requires good fats. And this has got a lot of the wrong fats, from saturated fats to not omega-3 fatty acids from fish, from olives, from avocados. That's not what you see. And the biggest problem that you see here, well, two more things, is there's not fiber here. You don't get the fiber that we need to feed our microbiome so that our microbiome will be completely happy and healthy. Those bugs that are there that are producing serotonin for us, the food that they need, not there. And the next thing is this diet is devoid. It does not meet the levels that we need for these 12 essential nutrients that we need, that we know help reduce depressive symptoms. Wow. So what we know, I'm going to cut to the chase right now. Some of you are like, what is this webinar about? I'll tell you right now, a higher consumption of fruit and vegetables has been shown to cut the odds of developing depression by as much as 62%. We have scientific studies that show that the more fruits and vegetables we eat, we can reduce symptoms of depression by 62%. Wow, that's pretty amazing. And you think, how in the world do fruits and veggies do that? I mean, what's so magical about them? Well, how does it work? Here's what you got to know. The happy neurotransmitters, they're also called monoamines, the happy neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine and norepinephrine. That's what our brain needs, right? Those are important. They're the drivers of the happiness hormone. It is so important. All these things are so important for us. So how do fruits and vegetables do something for that? Well, here's the theory that people who are depressed have elevated levels of monoamine oxidase. Oxidase means it eats up the levels of your neurotransmitters. So you don't have serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. They get eaten up by this oxidase. And so if we can do an oxidase inhibitor, medications, MAOI inhibitors, they inhibit that oxidase. That's what drugs do. But guess what? Vegetables and fruits contain natural monoamine oxidase inhibitors, MAOI. And that explains an improvement in mood associated with exercise, so exercise too, but associated with increased fruit and vegetable intake. Wow, that's how it works. Pretty explained. Fruits and vegetables have that. So we all know we're supposed to eat more fruits and vegetables, but how many? And how do we really make that happen on a daily, weekly, habitual basis? How do we make it taste good? How do we really make that happen? And how do we get rid of processed foods? Because processed foods have the anti-nutrients we don't want, and fruits and vegetables have the good nutrients, so you want that great slate. You want both going for you. How do we make that happen? First of all, food is powerful stuff. Ding, ding, ding. It really is. Food is powerful stuff. Both powerfully not good and powerfully good. And I hope you find this encouraging, because when we feel depressed and we go to our doctor, or like, I need some help, we feel powerless. We've tried all kinds of things. It doesn't work. But food is powerful. And this is exciting to know that you have control. And you can work hand in hand with your doctor in regards to this. Nutritional psychiatry, it's your brain on food. Nutritional psychiatry is the growing discipline that focuses on the use of food and supplements to provide essential nutrients as part of an integrated or alternative treatment for mental health disorders. And for many years, the medical field did not fully acknowledge, they partially acknowledged, but not fully acknowledge the connection between mood and food, and they did not acknowledge the probiotics and how the importance of our microflora and how powerful that is in creating serotonin for the brain. But fortunately, that's changing. It's a burgeoning field, nutritional psychiatry. So that's exciting. Even people think they eat healthy. Even people that think they eat healthy, all right? Take a look at this. You go, okay, I had shredded wheat. Okay, it was frosted shredded wheat, and I had some fruit on it. And not a lot of fruit, but I had some berries on it. And for lunch, I had whole wheat bread. I got turkey lunch meat on there. I even took the effort to get some tomato and some lettuce on there. And I didn't have cookies. I had a granola bar. And look at that. I didn't have fried chicken. I didn't have red meat. I had chicken, grilled chicken, and I had vegetables. Yep, look at that. And then I was good all day. I had a little bit of ice cream. Okay, maybe it was 3 scoops, but it was a little bit of ice cream. Now, when you look at that, a lot of people would think that's not too shabby. It's whole grains. Come on, that's pretty good. But I'm going to tell you a couple things about your brain. Your brain would say to you, oh, but that's too much sugar and that's toxic to my brain. Too much sugar, what do you mean? Ladies, you can safely have 6 teaspoons of added sugar a day. Men, you can safely have 9 teaspoons of added sugar a day. And this is around 14 teaspoons of sugar. It's too much sugar. Really? Yeah. And if you could trade out that ice cream for a smoothie that has no added sugar, it's natural sugars from fruit, and it satisfies you and gives you the same, and it has all the nutrients, even nutrients from things like spinach and kale, and browned up so that cellularly your body can get that from that smoothie. If you could trade that out, your brain goes from here to there. And that cereal, shredded wheat, but it's frosted shredded wheat. Berries, down the cereal and way up the berries, way up the berries. Half the sandwich and add a salad. You can do so much. Nuts, dried fruit instead of that chewy, sweet granola bar. There's a lot of things you can do to improve this meal, this day, because we need to get 7 to 8 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And when we get that, we get the nutrients we need. Take a look at this. Scientists have uncovered there are 12 antidepressant nutrients. It's 12 nutrients that contribute to the prevention and treatment of depressive disorders. Folate, iron, very important. A lot of people, foliage, that's all that foliage that you see, that is folate. And we don't eat enough of it. And we need to eat enough of that. Iron, it's really hard. Even when we get the iron we need, we have to have vitamin C along with it so that we absorb that really well. And so the more vitamin C we eat that come along with that iron in order to absorb it. A lot of people are walking around low in iron, and it contributes to depression. And when we take our iron supplements, we get constipated. So then sometimes you don't want to take that, and then you don't take it. And oh my goodness, it's let's get the diet right. We can get the diet right. We can get the vitamin C in there. We can be able to get the high iron foods, and then we can get our iron where it needs to be. Omega-3 fatty acids, from fish. And I will tell you, to be able to have fish more often than chicken and beef and pork makes a difference in your brain. Also, magnesium. Did you know that Americans, on average, we average 300 milligrams of magnesium a day, and we need 400. That's a 100 milligram shortfall. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single day, we're 100 milligram shortfall of magnesium. And potassium, we average about 2,500 milligrams of potassium, and we need 5,700 milligrams of potassium. We're over 2,500 milligram shortfall of potassium. What does this do for us? And looking at selenium and thiamine and vitamin A and B6 and B12 and vitamin C, all of those, we don't get really adequate levels. And zinc is another mineral that we often don't get enough of. And zinc is implicated in immunity. All of these implicated in immunity, and that we can improve our response to immunity. That's really buzz right now, right? So, wow, these are important nutrients for a lot of reasons, for our brain, for our immune system, for fighting cancer, you name it. So the Antidepressant Food Score. Foods were analyzed for antidepressant nutrient density. Researchers concluded consume foods with the highest AFS. Here's what they did. They took all these foods and they analyzed them. Okay, we got these 12 nutrients. We really want to find the foods with the most of these nutrients. And when they analyzed all these foods with the most of these nutrients, they were able to create a nice little list. And they got this great list together, and they said, let's list these in categories. So back to the side. And researchers concluded that the foods with the highest AFS to support prevention and recovery from depressive disorders, that's what we should be recommending. Yep. That's what we should be recommending. So let's do it, shall we? Are you ready to take a look at this? The 20 foods that fight depression, top on their list when they did the whole calculations, what were the top? I'm going to tell you. Are they animal foods? No, they're fruits and vegetables. That's what the tippity top is. So you think, is it carrots? What was number one? Was it spinach number one? What was number one? Are you ready for what was number one? Drum roll, please. The number one, highest scoring at like 120, something like that, points is, ladies and gentlemen, watercress. Watercress. Did you have some today? How about this month? How about last month? No, I went to buy watercress at the store because I was like, watercress? Really? I mean, I've had it a couple times and at the farmer's market when it's growing and it's fresh and green, and it gives a really nice little bite to your salad, a peppery kind of bite, kind of nice. A little bit like arugula. I love arugula. I could eat straight arugula, but I use watercress in it. Hey, it's great. Look for it and try it. May not be a daily, all the time food, especially in January when you live in Michigan like me, but keep your eyes peeled for watercress. In the meantime, food number 2, you can have all the time, and that's spinach. Fresh spinach, frozen spinach. I love it in the boxes. You can take the box and pop it in a pot of stew and add it to pretty much every soup you make. You can cook down spinach. Spinach is fantastic. Fresh, raw, cooked, you name it. So number 3, Swiss chard, and just saying yes to Swiss chard more often, not just once a year or twice a year, or a couple times in the spring, but much more often. It's very fun, great in saute, so many great things. And if you're familiar with eatrealamerica.com, lots of recipes for Swiss chard and really all of these foods. Kale and collard greens up next, you name it. We got lots of recipes for those too. Kale and collard greens. And, do you all know how to massage kale? Right? And make an amazing salad that your family gobbles up and they go, that was really good. And you go, that was kale. And they're like, oh, kale. Okay, I liked it. Making it different ways, surprising your family, cooking kale, collard greens. You can use collard greens to make wraps with. What a great trade out from a floury wrap to collard green wraps. I mean, there's so many great things in sauteing them, cooking them, so many things. So what's next? Herbs, your parsley, your basil, your cilantro, all of these are amazing. And I will tell you that eatrealamerica.com has really, my partnership with Krista she has taught me and helped me to learn more and more and more. Do you know, we'll go off camera for a second, off slides, I mean. I remember I would buy, I'd get a recipe that called for about a 1/3 cup or 1/2 cup of chopped parsley, and I would buy chopped parsley. This is Italian parsley, flat leaf. Curly is also excellent. I like them both. And I would use that much for the recipe, and this would be in a plastic bag in the refrigerator, and then I would never use the rest of it. I would have lots of salads, and I would never use the rest of it. Guess what? Just add parsley to every salad you make. It's neutral in flavor. You'll totally enjoy it. So don't mind it at all. Just take that and put it in there. You'll love it. So never waste a whole head of parsley or 1/2 a head of parsley. Again, chop it up and add it to your salads. And then all your herbs. I mean, I just love growing so many things. We have mint, fresh mint. This smells amazing. Now, we're in Michigan now, but I have mint growing by the woodpile, and it comes up every year, and you just go out there and pick mint. It's enjoyable for like 5 months of the year, but I have to buy it in the store like this to be able to enjoy it. But basil and plant yourself some mint in the spring. You'll be happy you did. Plant any other herbs you can, but enjoy having some fresh herbs when you can, all right? And learning to use them more and more. Alrighty, next up, they're powerful. Broccoli. Yeah, broccoli. We all love broccoli, and I'm so glad it made the list. It's easy. Even kids like it. And whether you steam it, whether you stir fry it, whether you roast it, that's ding, 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 the best way. Cauliflower, also excellent. So many ways that you can enjoy cauliflower. I even love to put cauliflower in smoothies. I know, nobody knows they're in there. Okay, and next, Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts, you can slice them. You can roast them in the oven is the best way to do it, I think. But don't think because you tried Brussels sprouts boiled as a kid that you don't like them. You just have to try them again and again. You know, it's interesting. Studies have shown that both children and adults will accept a new food by the 11th try. Yeah, they will. So give that a thought, and just remember, trying at different times. I always say a no is just a yes waiting to happen. So keep trying them, lots of varieties of different ways. Next up is red cabbage. Red cabbage. Yep, enjoy you some red cabbage. Let me just show you what I have here. In my refrigerator, you will always find a head of red cabbage, like so, in a plastic bag. And I will always I do 1/4 of a head at a time. I chop it here, and I have me some chopped red cabbage. So that's ready to go anytime and all the time. So I just want to share that because that works amazingly. And I think that I can add that to a salad at any time. And it boosts nutrition exponentially. And it's beautiful too. Even my son likes red cabbage. I also use it in a saute, for the vegetable with the evening. In salads, it's just great. Okay? Great. Next up, what's the next one? And then it's peppers. I'm so excited that peppers made the list. Lickety Split Meals, I have so many recipes with peppers. In eatrealamerica.com, there's probably over 300 recipes using peppers. Search in the upper right-hand search bar, peppers. Oh my gosh, you'll find so many recipes. So enjoying peppers as a snack or however you do it, I highly encourage you. Next up is butternut squash and pumpkin, whether it's canned pumpkin. I want you to know, when you go to buy canned pumpkin, a lot of times it's butternut squash. Squash and pumpkin are interchangeable, just so you know. But being able to use a fresh butternut squash in so many ways, we have tons of recipes for those. It's a favorite food. And then what is that? What made the list? Kohlrabi made the list. These cabbage family vegetables are making the list, and they're cancer fighters too. But these little alien spaceship things are great. Kids even love them. Cut them into matchsticks and use them as a dip. They're great on a veggie tray and also chopped up and added to a salad. It adds a great crunch. So give that a try. Next up, lemons, limes, oranges. I remember buying lemons and limes and they would go bad on me. I didn't know what to do with them. Oh, those days are so gone. We buy a bag of limes, a bag of lemons, and we use them in squeezing them in our beverages, over our fish, in our salad dressings. Lime, I almost like lime way more than lemon, but lemon and lime both really important. So, and then oranges, of course, enjoying citrus. And remember, that helps you absorb your iron. So both those key nutrients are key. And of course, strawberries and blueberries, we know and we've heard a lot about how those are great for the brain, and they are really great for the brain. So keep those in mind. All right, so those were the way the scientists did the list is they did animal foods and they did plant foods. And let me just say this, all animal foods were way lower than plant foods. So anybody who is a 100% vegetarian, you're going to do better. You're going to get a lot more of the antidepressant nutrients. But for most of us, we like to include some animal foods, and it helps us get some of that iron, helps us get some of that zinc, helps us get some of those nutrients that are harder to get, but that may not score totally high. So here's how it goes. Here were the top animal foods. Are you ready for the first one? Was it chicken? Was it salmon? What was the first meat animal food? It was oysters. They're called bivalves. Bivalves. Also, organ meats were on this list too. But oysters and clams, crab. I've gotten to have crab twice. When I went and visited Barbara Christensen in Portland, Oregon, we had fabulous crab for a meal. And then also when I went to Alaska and gave a presentation there, and it was hosted by the meeting planner in her home, and it was so much fun. We had a lovely crab dinner, and it was like they have that often. You can buy canned crab and use it. So it's like, it's not, it's something. Just saying, crab is out there to be enjoyed. And then salmon. Yay! I love me my salmon. Now, some people don't like salmon. In fact, I hosted friends here this summer, and they said, "Oh, we just don't like salmon," and but they really like trout. And I was like, "That's great! I'm having rainbow trout tonight for dinner." And so I served them that. Well, actually, I didn't know if they like. They were like, "I'll try it. Is it like salmon?" I go, "Yeah, it is a little bit like salmon, but yeah, we'll try it." They loved it, and they've been cooking it ever since, and it makes me really happy. So I want you to know how you cook things. Varieties of fish, try them out, and I think you'll be surprised. And, just remember that when it comes to, those oysters, you can buy them in a can. You can buy them in a can. My mom used to make a wonderful oyster stew just with milk and a little bit of butter, and it was delicious. You can also use canned salmon. Fresh salmon is great, but you can make salmon patties. We have lots of recipes for these, both in the Eat Real cookbook, the Liggins cookbook, and also at the eatrealamerica.com website. Tell you what, salmon patties, if you can trade out hamburger for salmon patties, your brain will be amazed and so happy. So that's a great slate because it's removing saturated fats that are not so great for the brain and replacing them with omega-3 fatty acids, which are really good for the brain. So that's a big deal. Then our last and final one, what is it? Drum roll, please. Oh, tuna. And whether it's canned tuna, I encourage you to use light canned tuna more than albacore. We used to tell you to buy albacore because it had a little bit more omega-3s, but then it actually has more mercury. So the light tuna you want to choose instead. I know it's scary in our polluted world, but to be able to have light tuna more often. But fresh tuna like that out in a restaurant or cooked you at home. There you go. All right, I want you to look at this list. I want you to feast your eyes. I want you to hold up your fist to yourself, and I want you to just count how many of these do you typically eat in a day? You know, a fist-sized serving. How many of these do you typically have in a day? Is it 2? Is it 4? Is it 6? Is it 7, 8? How many is it? And now what I want to ask you is, how many could you eat? If you gave it some effort and you grocery shop differently and you set a few goals, could you eat more of these? I mean, the payoff is totally there. You can absolutely take control of your mood and your mind and start feeding it these natural pharmaceuticals. Absolutely, you can. And working in tandem with your doctor. I'm not here to say ever to get off your medication. That's between you and your doctor. But when you can start supporting yourself nutritionally, I think you'll see the difference, see and feel it. So very good. You're willing to try it? So what I want to do from here is I want to take you into my kitchen and I want to show you a couple of easy things that I do that help you take those foods that we just looked at and get them in. Get them in every day of the week. How can you do it? I'm going to start with something called a smoothie. And let me just explain a smoothie really quick before I show you the one I'm going to make you. And that is, like I said, smoothies break down the cell membranes of always have vegetables and not just fruit. Always have a combination. And don't add added sugars. Use fruit or add juice if you need to get it to the sweetening power you need. But I will tell you, it can replace ice cream. It can replace a fabulous treat like that. It gives you those sensory satisfactions, but it delivers bolus of nutrition. So here we go. I'm going to share with you. You can make a red smoothie, a green smoothie, an orange smoothie, a purple one, whatever color you want. But today I'm making for you this green smoothie, the glowing green smoothie. There's 3 of them in our Eat Real cookbook. So here we go. This one's going to it starts with a cup of orange juice. And if you use it towards the bottom of your blades, it helps get things going. Next up, go ahead and add an orange, a nice soft fruit to this. This has 2 soft fruits to it. You have an apple and an orange. And then we're going to add our vegetable, which is 2 cups of kale. I know. It's like not just 1 cup, 2 cups. 2 cups of kale, that's in there. And then we're adding a banana. You can use a non-frozen banana and just add some ice, or use a frozen banana and then you don't have to add any ice. Either way works great. In the summer, I like this to be super cold, but in the wintertime, this is just perfectly a great temperature. I don't need it to be really cold, icy cold in the wintertime. And you blend this up. Now, I have a Vitamix. So the Vitamix is going to really pulverize all the cell membranes of the kale right down. This is called whole food juicing. All right, everything's a whole food there, and we just juiced it. And then you pour this out. This makes 2 servings, 2 generous servings. And it's like, wow, I'm getting lots of servings of fruits and vegetables right here. And it's a beautiful green. I love to serve it on St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day. I serve this a lot. And you think the taste? Zonya, come on, what's the taste? The taste is, it's wow. It's just delicious. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. It's fresh. It's citrusy. It's totally citrusy. It's totally good. And here's what I want to say about this. I actually got this recipe from the newspaper back right before the Super Bowl many years ago. I had my son and his 3 cousins, all 3 boys. They're all teenagers between the ages of 14 and 17. And here they were at the house for the weekend, and we were going to church one morning, and I said, what do you guys want? I said, hey, do you want to try a green smoothie? It's what the the team that's on the Super Bowl, I couldn't remember which one, their nutritionist is having them all drink this green smoothie before the game because it delivers so many nutrients to all their muscles so that they can go out and perform really great. It's this apple super power smoothie. And they're like, a green smoothie? What is it? And so I showed them and I made it just like that. And I served it up for them. And I, of course, made a double batch, what you just saw, served it up to them. And they all go, okay. And they all finished it. They didn't say if it was good. They didn't say anything. Went off to church, came back. I said, okay, so what do you boys want for lunch? And they go, could we have some more of those green smoothies? Score! That was a touchdown. And I tried to contain myself. I said, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'd be happy to make those, and I didn't say, oh, so you liked them? Oh, because they didn't want to admit that they liked my smoothie, but they all drank more of it. And the thing is, it tastes great. And the thing is it's a really fun way to get really good green nutrition into your body. So your homework assignment is to try that recipe. Try it on your family. Any kind of blender will work. Alrighty. Next up, what do I do in my kitchen? I want you to just take a look here. A couple things that I do, and that if I didn't do this, I wouldn't eat healthfully. One thing, and if you have followed me before, you know that I'm big on this, and you know what I call this. This is my 24/7 veggie tray. Yes, the 24/7 veggie tray. And if we get our groceries on the weekend and we prep this, Scott's trained, I'm trained, and throughout the week we'll replenish it. But this is, ladies and gentlemen, the 24/7 veggie tray. And I keep the paper towel in there, helps keep it fresh. I used to have a separate container for everything, and then it would get lost in the refrigerator and I couldn't find it. You can't lose this. This goes right in on the same shelf, comes out on the same shelf. And when you come and you go to make dinner, it's like, oh, we just take this out and go, what are we going to have? Well, gosh, we could throw this in a bowl and toss it with some olive oil, 400 degrees, roast it. We could chop it up for a stir fry. We can make salads. We can munch on it with some hummus. You eat a lot more vegetables when you have the 24/7 veggie tray with you. And let me just say, if I didn't do this, I would weigh 30 pounds more. It's a secret. And I would probably be depressed too, because this gives you my nutrients that helps me fight depression. So I'll tell you, 24/7 veggie tray, whatever container you want to get, it's just Scott and I, and we use this large container. It's not just for snacks. Remember, it's to top a salad. Like, for instance, to be able to make a quick salad, I will tell you it's super easy to do. I love my spring mix, and yes, we keep the paper towel in there to help keep the moisture away so that it doesn't get soft and, start to decay. And I will tell you, love this. I'm an Aldi shopper, and I get these at Aldi. Also, over here in the kitchen, I will tell you to get you some of these big bowls, because you got to have your big bowls for making big salads. None of this small salad business. You got to have a big salad. I remember having my brother over, and he said, wow, this salad is really great. I'd love to make them, but they're just so much work. I'm like, so much work? I go, Cliff, didn't you buy the refrigerator that had the easy button on it? A big red easy button on the front, and you just push it and a salad pops out? He goes, what? I go, well, that's the refrigerator I bought. Seriously, it's almost that easy. When you buy the right things, it's almost that easy. And when you keep a 24/7 veggie tray, and easily I can just run, I can get my knife out and chop up these a little bit into bite-sized pieces and add these to my salad. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. I mean, chop these up or not chop them up. I got myself a salad pretty quick and easy. Now, I will say this. Scott and I have learned to love a little onion on our salad. It really makes the salad. And so a little bit of chopped green onion or a little bit of chopped red onion, that little effort does make it special. So I got to put these back in, got to keep my little towels in there. And we'll put this back away. The other thing, remember, I add my little bit of red cabbage to my salad too. It's always pretty, makes it pretty. So, and it's easy. I've got it chopped. I do a quarter of a head at a time, and then I just store it in here and keep it in the fridge. Also, I just want to remind you that, it's so easy. You have your, you buy spinach, keep the little paper towel in there. And if it starts to go bad, if anything of this starts to go bad, like right there's a little spot you can just pick it out, make a salad. But if it gets too far gone and you're like, I don't want to make a salad with this, just do a saute. Put it in a pan, saute it, add eggs to it. You always add your spinach with your eggs, right? I never have eggs without spinach in them, or chopped green pepper, or both. Okay, got to have a lot of great veggies in your eggs, and spinach is a must. Kale, you can buy it already chopped and ready to go. It's easy, already washed, ready to go. I buy this at Aldi and I love it. Use kale, add it to soups, stews, you name it. Super easy. This is what you call stock in your kitchen for success. And keeping sugars down and low. If you've got, sweet treats and things that trouble you, bother you, just store them someplace else. Get them out of sight, out of mind, and really have your fruit bowl out here. This is dessert right here for you. And frozen fruits are really great and to be able to use. So you got your smoothies, that's tip number 1. Your easy button salad, your 24/7 veggie tray, that's another couple tips. And then the final tip that I have for you is I wanted to show you how to make my winter, or Krista and I's winter blues fruit salad. It's special. Takes a little extra effort. It's at eatrealamerica.com, and we'll give you the link to this. But look at how easy this is, really. It's already washed spinach. I could have used the whole thing in there. I probably should have used the whole thing, but we'll just use about that much. That looked right to me. I think it says 6 cups in the recipe. And then we're going to add ourselves some strawberries to this. And we're going to add some oranges, some clementines, 2 or 3 clementines divided up like that. And a little bit of red onion, like I said. I just think that combination, it's not too much. You don't want too much red onion, but a little bit is very nice. Walnuts are excellent. Can't believe walnuts didn't make the brain food, but they, avocado either. They didn't make the top 20 list, but they were at about 40. So don't worry, they're there. They're definitely good for you. Every fruit, every vegetable is good. Remove the seeds safely, like so. Also, be very careful. You can do this against the cutting board like this, laying in, or have it in your hand. But this is how I always do it. And just be very careful. Don't press really hard. You won't cut yourself. The skin will stop you. And this way I can get some nice little squares to go out onto my salad. And then I got to grab me a spoon, and around I go with that. Around I go. And this replaces a lot of the olive oil. When I have avocado, you don't have to use any olive oil for your dressing. I am going to use a tiny bit. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it here in a minute. So that's beautiful. And make sure you go back to the skin and get any extra of that dark green. You want to get that out of there because it has really extra nutrients. Remember those 12 nutrients that we want? We want those. Alrighty, next up, you could juice by hand a fresh orange, or you could cheat and use orange juice. Whatever you feel like doing. 2 tablespoons of orange juice. Next up, a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. One of the vinegars I love to have, that along with balsamic, are 2 things I really got to have. This is going to give the dressing the acid that you need. Next up is we're going to use a little bit of olive oil. It calls for 1 tablespoon, or it's optional. And I'm going to use 1 teaspoon. So it's just a tiny bit of oil. And that's just so it'll help me get my honey out of my out of my spoon. And it's 2 teaspoons, so I did a heaping teaspoon. And usually it slides right out, but one little part of it stuck. So there we go. We got it in there. So now we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Just a 1/4 teaspoon across this that serves 4 people is very low sodium compared to any jarred dressing that you would use. But you could omit the salt if you wanted to. But it does bring out a nice little punch. And remember, we're wanting this to be an addictive substance. And that little bit of honey in there is going to bring this into addictive substance category. That's what we want to be addictive, right? So my honey is dissolved. I've got my aggressions out by doing the whole little shakety shake. This is going to help make these strawberries that are winter strawberries, but that little bit of honey that white wine vinegar, the orange juice, is going to really make the sweetness of this pop, and you are going to be less depressed because you're going to go, it's January, but look at this, spring will be here sometime again soon. Look at this delicious salad that I am serving, and your family will go, wow, Mom, that was delicious. We got special salad. Thank you. So there, your next homework assignment is make those green smoothies and make that salad. You got it? Make that salad. That's your homework assignment. Do your 24/7 veggie tray. That is part of your homework assignment. And have the easy button salad ready to go. That is your homework assignment to really help you apply what we've talked about here today. All right, so next up, I want to share with you that if you've said, I like this is good, I've learned some things, and I want you to know that this is the tip of an enormous iceberg. The goal is to get you to habitually eat 7 to 8 fruits and vegetables a day deliciously through more smoothies. You're going to learn my chocolate peanut butter cup smoothie that has cauliflower in it, and more amazing salads that will make your family, you will love taking it to potlucks, you will love serving it, great salads, and then just really satisfying soups and stews that include turmeric and all kinds of those antidepressive, really anti-inflammatory spices that you might have that you never know what really to do with. So we're going to fix that, and just dinners and desserts. Oh, because when we're depressed, we need dessert. And dessert needs to be good for the brain, not bad for the brain. And so we will show you exactly how to use dark chocolate, how to use a variety of fruits, how to make amazing, amazing desserts. And the gut-brain connection, we'll talk a lot about the microbiome and supplements to consider why and how much. We'll totally do that. Our goal is to help you eat with the seasons. Our goal is to help you eat real food, get off processed foods that have all those anti-nutrients that you don't want for your brain. Replace them with real food that are so rich with all this nutrition that's what that's about. I want to share this email with you that I got. This is from Glenn. Glenn has taken my diet-free program. He's taken Conquer Cholesterol and Inflammation Deliciously. And so he says, Zonya, I have a question. What is the connection between the gut health and our emotions and moods? Great question, Glenn. Thank you for asking. He said, I'm usually a pretty positive person and can find ways to bring everyday joy into my life, but I have noticed that it has become more difficult, and I am more short with people, less patient, and just on edge more often, more low-grade stress, and I think underneath it all, a bit sad. Perhaps less sunshine, colder, and just a sign of the times we live in. This is why I am signing up for your class. I didn't think I needed it until I reflected on my behavior a bit. Thanks for sending that in, because I really think a lot of us can relate to that, Glenn. So glad to have you in the class, and I really hope to have the rest of you in the class. And the last thing I want to leave you with is that when you arrived today, I want you to picture who you were when you arrived. I want you to picture your comfort zone. This is you, the types of foods you like to buy, the types of processed foods, maybe a few, maybe a lot, not so much, maybe the drive-through, maybe not. This is your comfort zone with food. Tonight, I presented some new ideas, and I want you to know that if you want to take control of your health, your mood, your mind, fighting Alzheimer's disease, losing weight, this is where the magic happens. Trying new things, and I really, really want to encourage you to say yes. A no is just a yes waiting to happen. Try foods again and again. Try them cooked different ways. And say yes to taking control of your mood and your mind. And be well, be safe, and be happy. Use food like medicine. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.